Hello, right, here we are in the fish room. So today I'm just going to do a very quick video going through all of the stuff that I dose to my 3000 litre reef, which you see behind me. I'm going to start with the liquid foods and then just go to the additives that I use on a weekly basis. So if we start with the food, so the food, you can see those little dosing lines there behind me, and they come out of food which is in that fridge there via the DOS doses which are set up there. And in that fridge I have 3 different types of liquids. One is these first bite pods, Cocoa pods, which I really like. They're really nice, very liquid, easily go through the dosing lines, and the fish absolutely love them. So I dose those twice a day out of that dosing pump, and then twice a day I also dose this Calanus, which is also really quite nice and liquid, so it goes through the dosing lines really easy. They do a variety of liquid foods: Artemisius, Mysis, gold pods, but this is the best that I've found anyway for not blocking the lines up at all. So it works really well. So I just put a bottle of that in the fridge, a pouch of the first bite Cocoa pods, and I dose 2 doses of each every day. So they get 4 basically liquid foods in, mainly for the additives really. But I've been doing that for over 2 years, I guess, not run into any problems. And the other thing I dose out of that fridge is not a food, but this is a phytoplankton. So this is a 6 species mix of phytoplankton I get from mangroves and more, and I just buy a litre every couple of weeks. I think I dose about 50 ml a day. No idea if it does anything, but I've done it for so long now that I don't like to make changes really. So that's kind of what I do for food type dosing. And then when it comes to additives, obviously I do my auto water changes with Chocolate Marin Pro salts. And if I need to top up my calcium, I will use a big bag of, this is from a company called, is it Aqua Blue or Blue Ray Aquatics, and this is just a big bag of, oh, let me see what they actually say on the label. It says calcium chloride dihydrate flakes, and that's what I just mix up with some RO water if I need to add some calcium, which I don't do all the time, but if I do, that's what I use. And then if I'm going to dose magnesium, I will mix up a combination of magnesium chloride hexahydrate, and the other one is magnesium sulfate, which is basically Epsom salts. I was going to get the bag out, but it's just white powder. Yeah, so I mix that. So I do 130 grams of magnesium chloride mixed with 92 grams of magnesium sulfide into a litre. I'll just mix it up and dose it as and when needed. And when it comes to my alkalinity, I use calcium hydroxide, which if you turn the camera around, see I buy it in those big, I think it's a 5 kilo tub, I think it's 5. Yes, I just buy that, and every couple of days I will just take a couple of scoops and dump it into my calc stirrer just to top it up, and then maybe every 3 or 4 months I will completely clean the calc stirrer out because it gets a thick sediment build up in the bottom. But that's super easy, and that does like 90% of my alkalinity needs really. Plus obviously it gives you that little pH boost that everyone likes. And then because I am dosing 100% of my evaporation rate in this tank 24/7, I haven't even got an ATO turned on. I do everything via the calc stirrer to replace all the evaporation. And to just top up what the calc can't do, because it's obviously at 100%, is I mix up this, which is sodium hydroxide, which is just got a higher pH than the calcium hydroxide. pH of that is about 14.4 when it's mixed up. I mix it up quite strong, and I just dose 70 mils a day. And it's very cheap. I buy that from actually a soap making factory online. I think the bottle's like £17, and I think it makes something like 6.5 litres, and I only actually dose 70 mil a day into 3,000 litres. So it's a very potent mix. It's just easy to do. Obviously the downside is when you mix it, you need to have a big old pair of gloves and a full-on face and respirator, just because you do not want to get it splashed. Certainly not in your eyes. You're in a world of hurt. So yeah, so there is a downside to it. So anyways, yes, so that, and I also run a calcium reactor, which you can see there behind me, which does a tiny percent of my alkalinity, because it only actually runs for 3 hours a day at the moment. But that's just capacity built in for when the corals get even larger. Right, what else do I dose? So to control my phosphates, I dose lanthanum chlorides. I just buy this from Tropic Marine, because I don't dose a lot of it. I could source it separately, mix my own, I guess, but I don't use enough to warrant the hassle. And then for nitrate control, I use MP Bacto pellets in a reactor, and I run probably 2 litres worth of pellets. I just run as many as I can fit in the reactor, basically, in the Deltec reactor that I run. And last thing I dose is these, which are the Tropic Marine A and K elements. So I buy these 5 litre containers, and they last me about 5 months, I think. And I've been doing that for a year and a half, 2 years maybe. Someone did ask me why. And just one of those questions when you go, well, I think the corals look better when I dose it, but it's one of those, kind of generic answers, really. I cannot give any specifics of the differences that I saw, but the tank just looks a bit fluffier and a bit more colourful when I dose the traces. So I've just carried on dosing them, basically. So I think that covers everything that I dose into the tank on a regular basis, along with the auto water changes that I do. So I just thought I would give a run through of what I use to run this 3,000 litre mixed reef tank. And I will see you in the next video.